What is up, it's a Figure Hunter, and today I just want to share my thoughts. Everybody's dropping their videos on the Apple Watch Ultra and how it compares to the predecessors of the past and what the newest updates are and what they think of the updates. And a lot of reviewers have been saying, I think this is the update people were looking for. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I have watched all the reviews and thought through some of the conceptual changes. I probably am not going to share every review and update detail in this video, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out as somebody who tests devices for training and for recovery and for wellness. So as somebody who looks at these things on a regular basis, specifically when it comes to it being like a sports watch, which I simply do not think the Apple Watch of any series is a sports and training device. I think it is a little baby computer on your wrist. The only real problem I have, so that's problem number one. I think any of the releases, and we'll talk about it, I just feel like they're really just for generic purposes only. Across the board, on the training side, it's just generic and soft, and then on the recovery side, generic and soft, and doesn't even do some core primary physiological tracking that is needed for real analytics. I'm going to say out of the gate, and I'm going to say it again at the end, if you are an Apple Watch user, you 1000% should look at the Bevel app. I've just kept some awareness of how they've evolved. There's nobody like them, nothing like it. They transform your Apple Watch experience into something that's at least somewhat effective for collectively looking at your training and your recovery and wellness. And now they have food and nutrition and AI incorporation. So take a look at that. But back to the Apple Watch. I am so completely disappointed with the lack of innovation, in my opinion, from Apple. In general, part of that stems from, and I should give you a backdrop, that I think the iPhone is getting less effective in basic tasks than in previous 2 years. I think the simple tasks, I use voice to text on a regular basis. It is more and more wrong and substituting people's last names that I haven't talked to forever from my contacts for simple words like more, or I can't remember the other one, but it's constantly substituting words. So I just think it's getting less effective at the basic tasks. And the fact they haven't updated Apple Intelligence, I just feel like they're so far behind. But let's talk about the updates. Let's just get to the updates of the Apple Watch Ultra 3 specifically. Larger screen, not visible, not really tell. Viewing angle, not worth anything, you know? So obviously if you're new, if you're gonna go buy an Apple, I'll get to my summary thoughts. 5G, not really that important because everybody on planet Earth carries one of these things typically. The 5G is gonna be here, that's where it's great. Yes, now you have 5G on your wrist. I don't think that's worth anything at all because you're not gonna download a movie to your watch. And most times I don't know that you're going to be using as your primary source of communication. Maybe some people are, that's fine. Battery life changes, no real battery life changes. The functional, maybe like you're going from 36 to 42 hours. You're going from a day and a half to a day and 2/3 or something like that. That's stupid to me. Okay, it's great that it's a little bit longer. So when I look at the primary things, satellite messaging. If I look at anything that came out, new release, it's just satellite messaging. And I think, you know, Samsung's got it now, Garmin's got it now, and like a $5,000 watch, that's dumb too. But the satellite messaging, I think, is really useful for when you're in a pinch and you're out on the trail, you're far, far away, and you need to be able to communicate. But the iPhone does it. Almost all the recent iPhones do it too. And if you're gonna go out for 6 hours, you wouldn't take your iPhone? It's like you're not gonna listen to music. Because you're not going to probably listen to music on your damn Apple Watch because it's going to die if you listen to music while you're running on a GPS activity. So why wouldn't you just take your phone? Or why? Of course, you're going to go up 6 hours and you're not going to have... Yes, the Apple Watch can do it now. And yes, the Apple Watch reception seems to be just as good, if not better, than the iPhones. Still, though, you don't need it. Because if you're going out where you're going to possibly... You'd have your phone. Hypertension tracking. I think that's awesome. I do think that's a great thing. It's a great feature to add, but they're only adding it as a software update. All the hardware from the Series 9 Plus and the Apple Watch Ultra 2, it's been there. So again, it is a useful. That one is the only one that's useful, and it doesn't have anything to do with the development of the releases. It just has to do with the development of the iOS release. When it comes to iOS release updates, So they updated training load a little while ago. The training load is like a lot of perceived effort. I just think this is silly. Go to Bevel and have something more useful. Go to Sports Tracker. Sports Tracker is a great one for tracking your quantifiable exertion score from a workout and tracking your exertion scores from this week relative to past week, something they call TRIMP, which is another fancy word. Exertion scores, your exertion level from workout to workout across short periods of time compared to your long periods of time. Sports Tracker does it great. Bevel, is another one. Sleep score release. The sleep score release. The problem with Apple Watch is they don't track your HRV, and it doesn't track it all the time. Samsung does it. Everybody else on planet Earth tracks your HRV like every minute, every second, something like that. Apple will do it every 2 to 3 hours. If you turn on AFib, you say you have a problem, it'll track it more, but still it's not like useful data, or it's at least not primarily saying like we can use this information to go to these other apps. Sleep score is something, but it's so soft. And I hate to say it, everything doesn't have to be hard and rigorous. It's just, everything's just so weak. That's how I feel. The battery life change, weak. The screen size changes, weak. The viewing angle, weak. The sleep score, weak. The training load, weak. You have to go somewhere else other than the Apple Direct, you pull it out of the box and it does something, ecosystem, to get anything of value. And so I just think Apple continues from a training and even wellness, not just training, but like the wellness and recovery, feedback on your wellness and recovery is just so weak. And so that's what I think. When I see all these videos and I see the releases, I just had to get my thoughts out there. Maybe this seems stupid, but I just thought, as somebody who reviews sports and training watches and wellness and recovery and devices that are providing feedback to give you direction to make changes, I feel like it's just soft. They need to get more involved. They need to buy Bevel. So back to my original point, if you're an Apple Watch user, Bevel is the complete app on the platform, the market today. You should pay whatever they ask you to pay, do whatever they're doing, because it's the only way to take your Apple Watch and make it functional for really tracking more of your training load and your wellness and recovery over time. It's a Figure Hunter. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching.